1 Istiklal Street. Istanbul's mile-long pedestrianized street, Istiklal Caddesi, Independence Avenue, is located in the historic district of Istanbul and begins at the city's landmark, Galata Tower. Built during the Ottoman Empire, the street was originally known as Grand Rue de Pera, until it was renamed by the new Turkish Republic in the early 19th century. While today the street is pedestrian-dominated, it was once a dangerous high-speed automobile highway that fell into disrepair in the 1970s. The street regained its vibrancy a decade later when the Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality began a massive restoration process that included the repaving of roads and the reinstallation of the city's historic trams. Because of these efforts, Istiklal Avenue has once again become one of Istanbul's prime destinations for arts and social activity. Turkish song. Ice cream show at Istiklal Street. Number 2 Taksim Square. Taksim Square. Taksim Square, in Istanbul, is one of Istanbul's most iconic and dynamic places. During the Ottoman period the site was a collection and distribution point for water coming from the Belgrade Forest. Therefore Taksim means division or distribution in Turkish. The Republican Monument, located in the middle of the square, was erected in 1928. One side depicts the Turkish War of Independence, the other represents the Turkish Republic. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of the Turkish Republic, and his comrades in arms have a prominent place on the monument. The area around Taksim is alive at every hour of the day, from dawn to dusk to dawn again. It is full of entertainment venues, residential neighborhoods, cultural and the special passages that line the main street. The nostalgic tram which begins in the square and continues down Istiklal Caddesi runs all the way to Tunnel, the second oldest metro worldwide, which also gave the area its name. Taksim Square and its surroundings are not to be missed. Number 3 Galata Tower. Galata Tower, Galata Kulesi in Turkey, is one of the highest and oldest tower of Istanbul. 63-meter, 206 feet, high tower provides a panoramic view of the old town. It was built in the 14th century by the Genoese colony as part of the defense wall surrounding their district at Galata directly opposite ancient Constantinopolis. They called the tower as Christoturus, or Tower of Christ. The Genoese were involved in trade with the Byzantines and the tower was used for the surveillance of the harbor and the Golden Horn. After the conquest of Constantinople by Mehmet II, it served to detect fires in the city. Sultanahmet Square was the first flying Turk during the Ottoman Empire of the 17th century. He copied bird wings and studied air flows, then jumping from the Galata Tower he overflew the Bosphorus and landed at Üsküdar district on the Asian side, around 6 kilometers, 4 miles, in distance. After the Republic, Galata Tower was restored and opened to the public in 1967. The tower houses a cafeteria on top. There was also a nightclub which is closed down after the last restoration in 2013. A couple of elevators will take you up but there are still 3 more floors to climb by stairs to get on the panoramic terrace which is 52 meters above the ground. A small souvenir shop is located inside the tower just across the ticket office at the entrance level. Number 4 Blue Mosque. The Blue Mosque, called Sultanahmet Camii in Turkish language, is an historical mosque in Istanbul. The mosque is known as the Blue Mosque because of blue tiles surrounding the walls of interior design. Mosque was built between 1609 and 1616 years, during the rule of Ahmet I. Just like many other mosques, it also comprises a tomb of the founder, a madrasa and a hospice. Besides still used as a mosque, The Sultanahmet Mosque has also become a popular tourist attraction in Istanbul. Besides being tourist attraction, it's also an active mosque, so it's closed to non-worshippers for a half hour or so during the 5 daily prayers. Best way to see great architecture of the Blue Mosque is to approach it from the Hippodrome, west side of the mosque, as if you are a non-Muslim visitor, you also have to use same direction to enter the mosque. Number 5 Tomb of Sultan Ahmet Turbesi. Tomb of Sultan Ahmet Turbesi. It was built in 1619 in the northeast corner of the Sultanahmet complex, located in Sultanahmet Square in Istanbul city. There is a structure which was used as the Museum of the Tombs, which was converted into a mabakathin in the 19th century. After the death of Sultan Ahmet I in 1617, the construction of the tomb began in 1617 during the reign of Sultan Mustafa I Osman was completed in 1619 in the period. The tomb shows an architectural style separate from the 16th century tombs. The tomb is illuminated by 3 rows of windows on the facades. The lower row windows are rectangular gems with wooden doors and the upper row windows are pointed arches and networked. The transition to the dome covering the tomb is based on 8 pointed arches extending from the walls in the triangles of these arches. In these tiles in the 19th century technique, emphasis was given to herbal compositions. In the tomb, Sultan Ahmet I and his son Sultan II, Osman, Sultan IV, Murat, Mapikirkosim Valide Sultan, Sultan Ahmet I, Sultan II, Osman, Sultan IV. The daughters and sons of Murat and Sultan Ibrahim are buried. The tomb is under the direction of the Istanbul Tombs, organized as a museum and open to visitors. Number 6 Hagia Sophia. The Hagia Sophia in Turkish, was originally built as a basilica for the Greek Orthodox Christian Church. However, its function has changed several times in the centuries since. The first Hagia Sophia featured a wooden roof. The structure was burned to the ground in 404 AD. Arkadios' successor, Emperor Theodosios II, rebuilt the Hagia Sophia, and the new structure was completed in 415. The second Hagia Sophia contained 5 naves and a monumental entrance and was also covered by a wooden roof. Structure has been operated as a museum by the national government, and it reportedly attracts more than 3 million visitors annually. However, since 2013, some Islamic religious leaders in the country have sought to have the Hagia Sophia once again opened as a mosque. And, the debate isn't just a religious one. For much of the 21st century, Turkey's society has witnessed rise in nationalistic fervor, with a growing recognition of the Ottoman era as being a fundamental part of the country's history. For now, though, the building remains open to tourists. Number 7 Sultanahmet Square. Sultanahmet Square, Sultanahmet Maydani, is the old historic quarter of Istanbul, and here you will find some of the most significant historic monuments of Istanbul. The district was named after Sultan Ahmet I, the builder of the Blue Mosque, which sits at one end of the leafy square. Facing the Blue Mosque at the opposite end of the square is the magnificent Hagia Sophia. Many of Istanbul's Byzantine and Ottoman monuments were built in the old city, and with the many historical attractions in and around Sultanahmet Square, this is the ideal location to start any sightseeing tour of Istanbul. A good place to start your visit of the Sultanahmet quarter is at the Hippodrome, which was once the center of public life in Constantinople. The Hippodrome was the scene of ferocious chariot races which the Byzantines enjoyed, much like the gladiator fights that the Romans loved. There is not much left of this stadium, but significant monuments here include the obelisk of Theodosius, the serpentine column, and the column of Constantine. There is also a pretty domed fountain commemorating the visit of Kaiser Wilhelm II to Istanbul in 1898. The Hippodrome is now a public park which runs the length of Blue Mosque complex. Next to the Hippodrome are Istanbul's 2 most important monuments. The Blue Mosque with its 6 elegant minarets and the magnificent Hagia Sophia face each other at opposite ends of the square. When visiting Hagia Sophia, don't forget to also visit the nearby Basilica Cistern, one of the many hidden treasures of Istanbul. This giant underground cistern in Yerbatan Caddesi was built by Justinian in 532 to provide water to the city in case of sieges. Close to the entrance of the basilica cistern is the Million, a marble pillar from where all distances were measured during the Byzantine era. Number 8. Grand Bazaar. The Grand Bazaar is one of the world's oldest covered markets in the world. It is located inside the old walled city and stretches between the mosques of Bayazit and Nurazmani in the district of the same name Kupal-Karsi. With 11 gates, 64 streets and around 4,000 shops on about 40.000 square meters, the Grand Bazaar is one of the city's must-see sites. Its construction work began in 1461, after the conquest of Constantinople by Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror. Erected and used for the purpose of trading textiles, after the beginning of the 16th century another building was set at the same district, where the trade of luxury goods was set. Soon the quarter became crowded with more shops, dedicated to trade and commerce. Today the Grand Bazaar is crowded and on the move again. With around 26.000 employees and about 500,000 visitors each day, it proved that it has not lost its beauty and fascinating attractiveness since. If you plan to shop, it is recommended you set aside at least 3 hours. If you need to wake yourself up from the exhaustion of shopping, you can stop by Sark Cafe on the corner of Yaglixiter and Feshailer Avenues. Number 9. Ortakoy Mosque. The Ortakoy Ortakoy Mosque, Turkey has to have one of the most picturesque settings of all of the Istanbul mosques. Indeed, Ortakoy Mosque photos, with the bridge the background, are often used to demonstrate that particular Istanbul juxtaposition of traditional and modern. Ortakoy Mosque, built on the site of an 18th-century mosque built by Mehmet Aga, the son-in-law of Grand Vizier Ibrahim Pasha. The current building was completed in 1855, to serve as the Büyük Mescid-i Camiye to the Ottoman Sultan Abdülmecid. It was designed by Armenian architect, Garabet Balian, and his son Nigagos Balian, who were also responsible for the nearby Dolmabahce Palace. It is neo-Baroque in style, with an ornate exterior, and large windows that allow light to flood into its plein-air interior. The main chamber is small and square-shaped, its edge 12.25 meter in length. The ceiling is a dome shape, covered in pink mosaics. There are 2 tall minarets, each with a single shrift. Attached is the 2-story hung khazm. It has recently undergone a major refurbishment. If you visit the mosque, make sure to spend some time exploring the surrounding neighborhood, which was once a sleepy fishing village. The mosque itself is set at the end of a pretty open-air square, around which are some of Istanbul's best nightlife and dining options. If you visit on a Sunday, you can also explore the craft market that takes place in the side streets each week. Reflecting the historically cosmopolitan nature of the area, there is also the Ayafokas Greek Orthodox Church and the Ezahim Synagogue nearby. Number 10. Bosphorus. Bosphorus in Turkish language is known as Boğazisi, meaning inner strait. Bosphorus is a natural strait connecting the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, thus being a very strategic waterway. It was a river in the valley during the Tertiary period of the continents, which was drowned by the sea at the end of this period. There are 3 suspension bridges on the Bosphorus connecting Europe to Asia. The first one is known as Bosphorus Bridge and was opened on 29 October 1973 between Boiler Bay and Ortakoy neighborhoods. It's 1,074 meters long between 2 pillars. The second one is known as Fatih Sultan Mehmet Bridge and was opened on 3 July 1988 between Anadolu Hisari and Rumeli Hisari neighborhoods. This one is 1,090 meters long and 65 meters high from the water surface. The third one is known as Yavuz Sultan Selim Bridge and was opened on 26 August 2016 between Garips and Poyrazköy neighborhoods along the shores of the strait. It's one of the longest and highest suspension bridges in the world, 1,408 meters long between 322 meters high pillars, is 59 meters wide with 8 lanes for motor vehicles plus 2 lanes for trains. This tunnel connects only railways, subway between Europe and Asia. Another one under the water, a 2-level and 5.4 kilometers long tunnel runs between Kazlısızım neighborhood in Europe and Dost neighborhood in Asia. This project is called Eurasia Tunnel and was opened in December 2016, used by cars and minibuses only. Bosphorus is one of the most popular areas of Istanbul, especially during summer for its climate. Some of the interesting neighborhoods of the Bosphorus are basilicas, Ortakoy, Arnavutkoy, Bebek, Rumlahizal, Emirgan, Tarabya, Yenakoy, Istanbul, Saraypire, Üsküdar, Kanlika, Bekaz, Anadoluiza, Bey, Sanjalkoy, and many others. Best way to see these sites would be taking a nice boat trip along the Bosphorus.